everyone. For those that don't know me, I'm Michael, yoga instructor living in Cape Town, South Africa. Today's class is a Yin Yoga class, and the theme for today is about loosening up the stagnation that perhaps is built up while we've been in lockdown and perhaps not getting to the level of practice that we had before. So about loosening up stagnation and stuck energy, and this will entail mostly working with the spine, so some twists involved, so trying to get some movement into the spine and loosen up that stagnation. The props that we may need, but not necessary, so if you don't have props, the class will be totally fine. You won't have to worry about missing out on anything. But if you do have a pillow or happen to lucky enough to have a block, then those will come in useful perhaps for some support later in the practice. And for those lucky enough to have a bolster, you are welcome to use that whenever you wish in the practice for additional support, but again not compulsory, so you are quite able to complete the sequence without any additional support. So the last thing I just want to say is that because it's a yin practice and we hold the poses for quite some time, I am not going to be staying in the pose. I will demonstrate how to get into the pose initially, and you're welcome to keep your eyes open for that initial instruction to get the visual of the pose. But then once you have it and you are settling in your pose, I encourage you to close your eyes until you hear the next instruction, which would be to come out the pose. I prefer to do it that way so that I'm not down in the pose with my mouth on the mat and not able to give you breathing cues and further instructions. So just be aware of that. If you come out the pose, you may not find me in the pose. I'll be sitting here keeping time and getting ready for the next pose. Okay, so I think we can get started. We're going to start on our backs, so in a Shavasana. So for those that are accustomed to the Shavasanas, we want to simply come down onto our backs, find comfort and space. That might entail having your arms nice and wide away from your bodies with your palm facing up. You may like to keep your hand on your body, one on your heart and one on your belly. The feet are flopped outwards and soft. And then just bring your eyes to close as you settle into the pose. Take time initially just to get comfortable, get the movement and the fidgets out the way. Perhaps tuck your shoulder blades slightly under your back. That just opens up the heart space. Also helps with breathing into the abdomen. So settle in to your opening Shavasana pose. We want to use these few minutes bring about awareness. So notice your body on the mat. Notice the points of contact from the top of your head all the way down to your heels. Slowly scanning the body, trying to observe even the smallest of sensations, tuning into your body. And perhaps you notice discomfort, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with noticing both good and bad, positive and negative. However you feel it is totally fine and is right for now. Try not to wish for it to be any different. So just being in the moment and noticing, observing, accepting how it is right now. Just a reminder that this is a yin practice and we are here not to strive. We're not here to try and prove something to ourselves. We are not here to force our bodies to go further than they're meant to go. And even though the theme today is to loosen up some of that stagnation and energy, that doesn't translate into doing anything. We'll come into the poses and then we just be. The structure of the pose, the breath and gravity is what loosens up the stagnation. So keep checking yourself if you feel there's any element of forcing, if there's any element of performance in your mindset and your intention. Just come back a bit, come away from that into a state of just being. We now notice our breath. Our breath is a wonderful companion, particularly in a yin practice where we need to find stillness for some time. So start now to listen carefully for the sound of your breath. Notice physical movement of breath in and out of your body through your nostrils. With the yin practice, it's an opportunity for going inward, for self-reflection. Sometimes we may find we're drifting off and bringing in to-do lists and worries and concerns into the practice. And that's when connecting with breath helps with coming back to the present moment. But don't feel frustrated if you drift off, if you get caught up in thoughts, if you are aware of that distraction. That in itself is practicing mindfulness. The fact that you are able to check yourself, the fact that you are able to identify with that distraction. So this easy breaths now. We take a nice deep breath in together and we sigh it out the mouth. Let's do that again, a nice big sigh on the exhale. So deep breath in and really sigh it out. Remaining on your backs now, we're simply going to take our hands and place them on our belly. The fingers are gently interlaced at the tips. We want to focus on our breathing and taking that breath into the belly area rather than the upper chest. So we're going to do 10 nice deep slow belly breaths. Take a normal inhale and exhale to prepare. Then we go for 10 breaths, deep breath into the belly, filling it up on the inhale. And very slowly we exhale, we bring that navel down towards the spine. Inhale, filling up the belly. And exhale, gently releasing the belly down. Inhale, fill it up. Exhale, relax. Navel drops down. Inhale, fill it up. Slowly release it down. Inhale, fill it up. Slowly release. Inhale, filling the belly. Noticing the expansion. And exhale, release. 2 more. Deep breath in. And slow exhale. Last one, deep inhale. And slow exhale. And just breathing normally now for a few moments. Because we're going to be working on the spine, we're going to start off on a nice gentle side body stretch and using the spine to move the body over to one side. So inhale, take your arms overhead and then slowly creep the hands over towards the right hand side. And gently now moving the legs in the same direction. So we're coming into Bananasana, so we're creating the shape of a banana. So we're moving both arms and legs towards the right. You're welcome to take the left leg and place it on top of the right, or just simply place it down. Now created a nice opening on the left hand side. And we want to take our breath into that left hand side. So start focusing your breath. The inhale we want to take into the left lung. So deep breath into that left lung. Feel that rib cage on the left hand side expand and contract. Not forced, simply nice, deep, slow breaths. Close your eyes. Start to find stillness in the body now. Slow, deep inhales, and even slower exhales. Staying with your body, being aware of what you are feeling. And as the practice progresses, as we start to shift energy, as we start to unlock some of that stagnation, you might feel spaciousness, you might feel discomfort, you might feel resistance. And because the energy shifts, you may also feel emotion. Just let it be. Just notice. Try not to get too involved in what's coming up. Five more deep breaths on this side. We're going to slowly bring the body back through to center. Pause there just for a breath. And then taking your body over to the left hand side. So the arms move first over to the left and then the legs. Creating that banana shape. This time we are opening up the right hand side. So the body is moving to the right rib cage is exposed. Take time to settle into the pose. And then focus your breath now into that open side. Focus on expanding those ribs. Deep breaths. Let the body settle into the pose. It's totally fine to take a few moments to get into the pose. And perhaps on the one side it takes longer than the other. There's nothing wrong with that. Ease into the pose. Use your breath now to bring stillness to the body. Remember to try and focus the inhales in to the lung on the right hand side. Deep, easy, slow breathing. Just 5 more breaths on this side. And we slowly bring our bodies back to center. Pause there for a moment. Arms off to the sides of the body. Notice the body coming back and resetting. Takes a few moments for the sensation of the previous pose to drift away. And now lifting the left knee up, bending the knee, drawing the knee towards your chest, taking both hands and gently pulling the left knee in towards your chest. There's no strain, so we're not trying to get it as close as possible. It's just a gentle bit of pressure onto that left knee. The right leg is soft. We're going to be here for 10 breaths. Close your eyes. Notice the breathing and notice the sensations in that left hip. Maybe there's a bit of tension there. Now using your right hand, we're going to take that left knee across the body, across to the right hand side and bring it down to the floor on the right. If you want to use a block or a prop underneath this knee, that is totally fine. There's an option now to take the left hand out at shoulder height, and even there's an option to take a look out at your left hand. If that feels too much, then just bring your head back to neutral. The right hand is gently resting on the left knee. We're not pushing it down. Let gravity and breath create the space. So we're in our first twist now. So imagine now that we are opening up the blocked areas. We're almost wringing out the stagnation. Close your eyes now. Settle into the pose. If you are too far and you're feeling too much discomfort, let go, but bring the knee up a bit. Bring the left hand back to your body if it feels too much out to the side. Take time now to work out what's right for you today in this moment. Remember the breath. It's deep, it's not forced. Try and slow it down. Visualize now the twist of the spine, loosening up stagnation, bringing about a fresh energy into the body, shifting out old energy. Slow, deep breaths. The Yin practice, it's the stillness of the body for the prolonged period that does the work. So we try to find that stillness. We try not to give in to the urge to fidget and move. But always remember that the primary value of a Yin practice is self-care, so there's no judgment. If you happen to feel that stillness is not coming easily today, five more breaths on this side. And we gently come out of the twist, letting the left leg now extend out. We're going to pause here for a moment before we go to the other side. So again, finding that Shavasana pose, just for a few breaths. Bring your attention to the spine. Notice the sensation of that twist that lingers a little while. And equally noticing as it drifts away. This body awareness helps us with focus, helps us connect with our bodies on and off the mat. And now bringing the right knee up towards the chest. Both hands are on the knee or on the shin, and we're applying gentle pressure to the right knee coming down towards the chest. Again, we are here for 10 breaths. Nice, easy, slow breaths. Eyes are closed. take the left hand and we bring that right knee over to the left hand side. See where it gets to, that first edge. Let's not force it down. And then again you have the option of taking the right arm out at shoulder height, palm facing up, and having a look out at that hand. If on this side it doesn't feel right, then take your neck back to neutral. Even maybe place your hand back on your body. If you want to use a block underneath that knee, you're welcome to, or a cushion. Close the eyes now and settle into the twist. Become aware of the sensations and particularly try and assess if it feels different on this side. And perhaps it does. And that's totally fine. It's just about awareness. It's just about observing and becoming in tune with our bodies rather than living life in an automated fashion. We want to practice mindfulness in our daily lives, in between our practices on the mat. So when you are driving, when you are lying in bed, when you're sitting at a desk or a table, always take a few moments just to check in with the body, how it's feeling. Check in with your breath. Nice, easy breathing. Perhaps you're starting to notice a shift. Notice some of the stagnation move. Five more breaths. And then gently coming out of the twist. Again, extending both legs, finding a few moments in a mini Shavasana. Taking your attention to the sensations of coming out the pose now. How long does it take for the twist to actually unravel? Now next pose we're going to take legs up. So if you need to grab hold of a block or a cushion or folded blanket to support, then do so now. If there is nothing that you have, just using the two fists underneath your sacrum area and lifting the feet up towards the ceiling is perfectly fine. Move the hands around to find that sweet spot where the legs float up without any effort. If you do have a block, placing it just below the sacrum area. I like to just lean on the edge of the block rather than putting it directly underneath me. And then take your palms, close your eyes. 5 more breaths. Carefully removing any support that you may have from beneath you and bringing the legs down again. Just take a pause. And then when you're ready, we're going to come up to seated, comfortable seat. If you do have a block, you may want to use the block to sit on to get comfortable. Elevate the hips. If you're sitting on the block, it's a nice idea to sit on the front edge of the block, almost like you're slipping off. Tilts the hips forward, and then your back is nice and straight without strain. So get comfortable. Give you time now just to get your support ready if you need. And then once you're there, take your hands to your knees, either palms up or down. Just lengthen through the spine, relax the shoulders. Take a moment to settle into this new pose. Gently close now, listening out for your breath. Become acutely aware of each breath. Allow stillness to come. The breath is easy. The breath is slow. Sometimes we go stale. Sometimes we lose our drive, our sense of purpose. In particular during these times, that might be what a lot of us are feeling. And that's okay. For many of us, this is the first time in a very long time that we've been able to totally let go and switch off. Maybe we haven't had the pressures of work as we may have had before. It's a forced shutdown. So it's okay to notice that we have perhaps lost that sense of drive and purpose. But then the time comes when we need to re-energize and dust off the cobwebs. Reopening ourselves to opportunity. Reopening ourselves to the next chapter of our journey. It's important to know that despite the setbacks, despite us feeling like we've lost our way or lost our purpose or lost our drive, despite all of that, it's important to know that we have what it takes to move forward. we have what it takes to reinvent ourselves and to pursue something new, perhaps. Continue to focus on your breath. I'm going to read a short passage from Louise Hay's Heart Thoughts. I am my own unique self. You are not your father. You are not your mother. You are not any of your relatives. You are not your teachers at school, nor are you the limitations of your early religious training. You are yourself. You are special and unique, having your own set of talents and abilities. No one can do things exactly the way you can do them. There is no competition and no comparison. You are worthy of your own love and your own self-acceptance. You are a magnificent being. You are free. Acknowledge this as the new truth for yourself. And so it is. Let's take a nice deep breath in together. And sigh out. Another deep breath in. And sigh out. When you're ready, you can gently flicker your eyes open. Extend your legs out in front of you. Give them a nice shake out. Let the circulation flow. And then take your legs nice and wide into dragonfly pose. As wide as feels good for today. If it feels like you're straining, just bring it back a bit. In time, maybe there's space during this pose that you want to open up a little bit more. Perhaps you do have a bolster with you. If you don't, that's also fine. The bolster will potentially be something that we just gently rest our hands on. So a bolster is an option, or a rolled up blanket, but it's not necessary. So legs are nice and wide. We're sitting up tall. Take a nice deep breath in. Lift the arms up. It's a gentle stretch. And on the exhale, take the hands down to the floor in front of you. And then let's just see as we round the back where the hands get to. Let the head hang. It's nice and soft. This is a yin practice, so there is a rounding of the posture rather than a straight hinged back. Again, as always, take a little time to settle in. Pull back if you feel like you're too far. Remember, there's no concept of performance here. Just a gentle softening, and then let the body be where it needs to be. And then close your eyes as your head hangs and focus now on your breath. We want the breath to be gentle, slow and deep so that you can find calmness and stillness in the body. Just to listen out for your breath. If things are coming up for you, notice them. What are they? Don't get involved. Just be aware. Perhaps whatever comes up may need attention. Maybe something that you park for later, something to pick up. But the simple awareness of what's coming up is what is useful for you right now. Slow, easy breathing. Five more breaths. We come out of the pose, nice and slowly rolling up one vertebra at a time. The head comes up last. Sitting up nice and tall. Bring your feet together. And then take your hands slightly behind you. Lean back onto your hands. Perhaps even dropping the head back. Take 3 nice deep breaths here. Then coming forward again. Again, just pausing for a moment. Notice the lower part of your spine. After coming out of that pose, give it time just to reset. And from here we're going to make our way into tabletop, all fours. Take some time here. Really feel it out. I like to spread the fingers, lift the hands, put them down again, spread. Get a sense of the texture of your mat. And then start to push down into your hands. Make sure that there's a straight line between the shoulder and the wrist, and a straight line between the hip and the knees. From here we're going to do a few cats and cows. So if you know where you're going, you can go. Otherwise, take a deep breath in as we drop the belly and lift the chin. And we exhale slowly as we round the back, pressing firmly into the hands, perhaps looking through your legs. Inhale for cow. And exhale for cat. Inhale for cow. And exhale. Always with breath. One more. Exhale for cat. Hold it there for a brief moment and then come back to a neutral back. Pause again for a reset. We're going to come into a thread the needle, so taking your left hand slightly forward to give some space, and the right hand finds its way underneath the left armpit. You come all the way down onto the side of your forehead, and then you can extend the left arm softly in front of you, not reaching. Take time to get comfortable, settle in, and find your breath. Close the eyes. It's okay to take a little while to get into the pose, but once you've settled, the body still, just try and focus on breath alone. Again, we in a twist now, so visualize that sensation of releasing and loosening up that stagnation that has perhaps crept into our bodies over this time of being isolated, not getting out. And even if it's not a physical stagnation, it could just be an emotional one. So visualize in that twist that you're almost wringing that out. Nice, easy breathing. Noticing sensations in the body. So although we focused on breath, we also want to stay alert and aware of what we're feeling in the body. The more aware we are, the more we're able to direct our attention and awareness to where it needs it most in the body. It helps for the breath to find its way to where it's needed. So maybe that's discomfort or tingling. Whatever you feel, and just notice. Slow, easy breaths. Five more breaths on this side. Bring the left hand below the shoulder to lift our body up, to come back to all fours. Again, just take a moment to feel out the mat, spread the fingers, let the body come out of that pose organically. And then when you're ready, move the right hand slightly forward, left hand feeds under the right armpit, and you come all the way down the side of your forehead, making contact with the mat. Perhaps extending the right hand gently forward as if you did on the left. It's not a full reach, just gently taking it forward to create a bit of space. Taking your time to settle into the pose. And notice your breath. We are now close to the mat with our face, so it helps with connecting with the breath. The breath is a little bit more audible as we get closer to the mat. So use that. Even rhythm of breath. Five more breaths. Again, coming out the pose, bring your right hand closer to your shoulders to push yourself up. Come back to all fours. Have a moment here to notice the sensations, let the body just adjust before we move on. And then when you're ready, we're going to come down fully onto our bellies. Take your arms alongside you. Take your right cheek to the mat. Making sure that every part of the body is soft. Try and feel a sensation of just melting into the mat. In 5 breaths, we're going to come up into a Sphinx pose. So just take some easy breaths now. Now, using your hands to push the upper body up. Take your forearms down to the mat. Make sure that there's a nice 90-degree angle here. Spread the fingers. Again, feel the sensation of pressing into the mat with your fingers nice and wide. Take a little while to get settled. Your neck is neutral, so you're looking just past the middle of the fingertips. Let your lower body be soft. Let go of any activation of the muscles, the glutes, the quads. If there is an intense sensation in the lower spine, you can always drop down a little bit to take the pressure off. Notice where it feels good for you. Close the eyes now. This gentle extension of the spine will help too to let go of some of the stagnation. Perhaps our posture has been one of hunching forward. Sometimes when we feel less bold and we feel that we need to protect ourselves, sometimes we hunch forward. We're just countering that posture now. Remember to breathe. There should be a slight contact with your belly and the mat as you breathe in. See if you can notice that. 5 more breaths in the Sphinx pose. Coming down softly onto your belly again. Take your arms alongside you again. This time the left cheek to the mat. And again, focus on softening the entire body. Do a quick body scan to notice if you have got any activation in the muscles. Let that go. Staying with your breath. Listen to the sound of your breath. It should be nice and slow and relaxed right now. Easy breaths. Five more breaths. coming out the pose, you're going to take your right cheek back to the mat, so turning your head the other way. Take your hands out alongside you, palms facing down, so your arms are at shoulder height, palms facing down, and then bring your left knee up to hip height. So left knee up to the hip height, right leg still straight behind you, arms extended at shoulder height, palms facing down. We want to really soften across the shoulders now. Try and feel that space across the front of your chest, your shoulders making contact with the mat. And although there's a little bit of space perhaps between the left hip and the mat, we still totally let go and allow an organic deepening. Let gravity do its work, so don't try and force yourself lower down. Notice how the neck is feeling in this pose. And as we find a soft rhythm and a deep rhythm of breath, so the body will sink a little lower into the mat. We're going to come into our final twist poses now. Bringing your left hand beneath your shoulder, you're using that left hand to push the body up onto its side. Your left foot now finds its way behind your body. Try and get the foot flat on the mat, and then bring your forehead back down. Your right arm now stays out, extended palm down. So you're getting a nice bit of opening of that right shoulder. Try and relax the head. If you feel comfortable here and you're not needing to support yourself, there is an option to take the hand behind the back. But if you feel like you are not able to keep that up, rather take the hand back down. And there's not much weight in this hand, it's just a gentle support. Breathing now nice and deep, as we need that breath for this deep twist, and particularly in that right shoulder where we may be feeling a bit of stress. Again, the opening up of the shoulder in this direction is potentially helping release some of our posture habits, rounding of the shoulders forward, taking the direction backwards with the arm. Five more breaths. we come rolling back down onto our bellies, extending the arms out at shoulder height, palms facing down again. Take the left cheek to the mat and the right knee up to hip height. So just opposite of what we did just now. Take time to settle into the pose. Really soften into the mat now. Creating some beautiful space across the back, the chest, opening up those shoulders. Also doing some goodness in terms of the neck. Breathing now, nice and slow and deep. We're going to come into the twist on the other side. So using your right hand underneath your right shoulder to push the body onto its side, right foot behind your body, placing the foot down, and then bring the head back down. Take time to come into this pose. The left arm is still as it was, extended out to the side, palm down. Foot down, right foot down behind you. Remember the option of dangling the hand behind you if that works for you. Otherwise, bringing it down for support. We want to deepen the breath as the intensity deepens. So for this particular one, the last twist of the sequence, we want to use this posture to get the last bit of that stagnation in the spine out. Nice deep breaths. Visualize that stagnation loosening. Five more breaths. Coming out of this pose, we simply want to roll back down and then straight away coming onto our backs. Keeping the head at the top of the mat, so just rolling over from your belly onto your back. Take a moment now just to notice the back on the mat as opposed to the belly. Maybe shuffle the shoulders around. Get to feel all the points of contact. And then from here we're going to take our last pose before Shavasana. We're going to take the legs up one more time. And as we did at the start, You either use a block or folded blanket for support, and then obviously the fists are a good enough option as well. So the two fists are placed below the sacrum area. Adjust the placement of your fists until it feels right. So the legs are up and there isn't much effort to keep them up. Keep the knees soft, so we're not trying to stretch the hamstrings here. It's a nurturing, soothing pose. Take time to give thanks to your feet. Thanks for keeping you grounded, connected. And now taking your time, remove any support. Bring your legs down nice and slowly and find your space for Shavasana, the final resting pose. Take a moment to tuck your shoulder blades gently under your back, leaving the heart nice and open. The arms away from the body, palms facing up. Close your eyes as you scan the body to make sure that you've softened the entire body. Concentrate on the face. Where in the face do you need to soften? Check that the jaw's unlocked. The tongue is relaxed in your mouth. The eyes are heavy in the sockets. Check in with that space between the eyebrows. Make sure it's soft. And now we completely surrender. Shavasana. start to bring your awareness back into your bodies, finding small movements, wriggling the toes, rubbing the thumb over the fingertips. And then taking your arms overhead behind you, take a nice deep body stretch. Big inhale, inside out the mouth. And then in your own time, you can find your way onto your right hand side in a fetal position. And as you come into that fetal position, check in with how you're feeling, how your body feels. Maybe you feel space, maybe things have shifted, maybe there's more work to be done. Weather the storm. Storms come, the lightning flashes, thunder rolls. Sometimes the hail pounds so loudly and incessantly it becomes frightening. Sometimes storms do damage. But storms are not forever. Just as nature plays out her storms, sometimes with violence, sometimes with grey days, sometimes with a gentle cleansing rain, we have storms in our lives too. Storms in our soul. Storms are part of life, part of growth, part of the journey. Light a candle, wrap up warmly. Make yourself safe and secure. Then wait for the storm to pass, knowing it will. Let peace return. Let security return. Let joy and meaning come back. The certain faith that you have purpose and your life is on track. When you're ready, you'll find your way up to a comfortable seat, the eyes still closed. Bring your hands to your heart center, pressing your thumb gently against your chest. We'll close the practice with a single chant of Om. We'll take a normal inhale and exhale to prepare. And now we'll inhale to chant. Om. Thank you for allowing me to guide you through your practice. It's always a great honor and privilege to do so. Take our thumbs to our third eye center. The goodness in me honors the goodness in you. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. I hope that you notice some shift, some cleansing perhaps, loosening up of that stagnation. And I hope that you reminded yourself that you have the capability, you have the resources within you, regardless of the external. You have it in you to get through whatever we need to get through going forward. Blessings.